Throughout my career in the management world, I've often reflected on how my background in humanities has shaped my approach to business challenges. This unique perspective has allowed me to bridge the gap between humanistic thinking and practical management concerns, revealing the often overlooked value of a humanities education in professional settings. Many dismiss the humanities as irrelevant to the real world of management. This presentation aims to challenge that notion by sharing a critical incident from my professional experience. While this is but one scenario among hundreds I've encountered, it serves as a particularly illustrative example. This case study demonstrates how the analytical and ethical reasoning skills cultivated by humanities education are not just academic exercises, but powerful tools for navigating complex management situations. Moreover, it exemplifies a broader pattern of challenges where humanistic thinking can provide valuable insights and solutions. By examining this real-world scenario through the lens of philosophy, linguistics, and ethics, I hope to illustrate how humanities-based critical thinking can help us dissect intricate problems, identify logical fallacies, and craft solutions that uphold both business interests and human dignity. This approach fosters a more perspicacious understanding of the nuanced ethical landscapes we navigate in management roles. This presentation is intended for management professionals, students, and anyone interested in the practical applications of humanities education. My goal is to demonstrate that in our rapidly evolving management landscape, the skills fostered by humanities studies, critical analysis, ethical reasoning, and clear communication, are more relevant and necessary than ever. As we explore how humanistic thinking can illuminate and resolve real-world ethical dilemmas in the management sphere, I invite you to consider the enduring value of humanities education in shaping ethical, effective business leaders. As a member of management in a corporate environment for a previous employer some years ago, I found myself embroiled in a situation that not only tested my leadership skills but also highlighted the critical importance of logical reasoning and ethical decision-making in the workplace. With my background in humanities and philosophy, including both undergraduate and advanced degrees, I was uniquely positioned to recognize and analyze the complex ethical and logical issues at play. This experience reinforced my conviction that the analytical and ethical reasoning skills cultivated in humanities and philosophy programs are invaluable assets in navigating the intricate challenges of modern organizational settings. The incident unfolded when one of my subordinates, acting with commendable integrity, reported serious misconduct by an individual from another department. What should have been a straightforward process of addressing the reported issue instead spiraled into a troubling sequence of events that exposed deep-seated problems within the organization's culture and leadership. In response to my subordinate's report, the organization inexplicably spent weeks scrutinizing this employee's work history. Their efforts culminated in a punitive action, issuing a written corrective action plan to my subordinate for an incident that had occurred 6 months prior, long before the misconduct report. This clear case of retaliation was deeply concerning, but what truly alarmed me was a statement made by my own superior in the aftermath. My boss at the time casually remarked, "People don't think about the meaning of words. If you say someone has retaliated against you, that means you've probably pissed them off." This statement, delivered with an air of worldly wisdom, struck me as not just misguided, but potentially harmful to the entire concept of workplace safety and ethical reporting. Drawing on my training in philosophy and the humanities, I immediately recognized the logical fallacies and ethical shortcomings in this reasoning. This incident served as a stark reminder of why organizations benefit from individuals with strong backgrounds in critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and nuanced analysis of language and human behavior. The equivocation fallacy, which lies at the heart of my former superior's statement, warrants careful examination. This fallacy occurs when a word or phrase is used with multiple meanings within the same argument, leading to a misleading or invalid conclusion. In the case at hand, the term retaliation becomes the pivot point for this fallacious reasoning. My former superior's assertion, "If you say someone has retaliated against you, that means you've probably pissed them off," exemplifies the equivocation fallacy in action. Here, two distinct meanings of retaliation are conflated. The legal definition, which refers to adverse actions taken against an employee for engaging in protected activities, and the colloquial use, which suggests a personal response to perceived offense. By blurring these definitions, my superior trivializes the serious implications of workplace retaliation, reducing it to mere personal conflict. This equivocation is far from a mere semantic quibble. Its consequences can be profound and far-reaching in a professional setting. Misinterpretation of legal obligations can lead managers to overlook genuine cases of workplace retaliation. When leadership dismisses serious allegations as personal disputes, it creates an environment where employees feel unprotected and hesitant to report misconduct. This not only undermines trust but also exposes organizations to significant legal vulnerabilities. Moreover, such reasoning can perpetuate a toxic culture where power imbalances are exploited and ethical breaches are normalized under the guise of personal disagreements. The implications extend beyond individual cases. They can shape organizational culture and influence employee morale. To illustrate the fallacious nature of this reasoning, consider these parallel scenarios. 1. Sexual harassment. If someone claims sexual harassment, they probably dressed provocatively. 2. Racial discrimination. If someone claims racial discrimination, they probably didn't work hard enough. 3. Whistleblowing. If someone becomes a whistleblower, they're probably just disgruntled. In each of these cases, the same flawed logic is applied to dismiss serious allegations by attributing them to the complainant's behavior rather than addressing the actual issue. These examples demonstrate how equivocation can be used to shift blame, minimize legitimate concerns, and perpetuate harmful workplace practices. The issue of equivocation is part of a broader category of linguistic fallacies that can hinder effective communication in the workplace and, more critically, undermine human rights. Language can serve as both a bridge and a barrier to understanding, and poor communication often results from various linguistic obstacles. These include clichés, which are overused phrases that can dilute meaning and fail to resonate with audiences. Jargon, which refers to specialized language used within specific professions that can alienate those outside the field. Euphemisms, which soften harsh realities but can obscure important truths. And doublespeak, which deliberately disguises or alters meaning to mislead or manipulate audiences. These linguistic barriers contribute to misunderstandings and miscommunication in business settings. They can lead to damaged relationships, loss of productivity, inefficiency, conflict, missed opportunities, wasted resources, and unmet requirements. The failure to communicate effectively can have cascading effects on organizational dynamics and employee engagement. More importantly, these linguistic fallacies can have severe implications for human rights within organizations. When language is manipulated through fallacies or misleading terminology, it often serves to obscure ethical responsibilities and undermine human rights considerations. For instance, when organizations use euphemisms like right-sizing instead of layoffs, they may obscure the emotional and financial impact of their decisions on employees. Similarly, doublespeak can be particularly dangerous. When a medical insurance company refers to its clients as lives, it dehumanizes individuals by reducing them to mere statistics. The use of such language can create an environment where human rights violations are more likely to occur and go unaddressed. When reports of misconduct are dismissed as personal grievances rather than serious allegations requiring investigation, it perpetuates a culture of silence that can allow human rights abuses to continue unchecked. From a philosophical standpoint, the equivocation fallacy and related linguistic challenges reveal deeper issues about the nature of language, meaning, and ethics in organizational contexts. Philosophers have long grappled with questions of language and its relationship to truth and ethics. Ludwig Wittgenstein, in his later work, argued that the meaning of words is determined by their use in language. This perspective highlights the importance of context in understanding language and the potential for misunderstanding when words are used across different contexts, or language games. In the workplace, this manifests in the tension between colloquial language and legal or technical definitions. John Searle's work on speech acts emphasizes that language is not merely descriptive, but can also be performative. Words can create social realities and obligations. Searle's focus on speech acts was indeed intentional, forming a core part of his philosophical investigations into language and mind. He viewed speech acts as the core of communication, asserting that whatever can be meant can be said. This principle of expressibility was central to his theory. Searle saw speech acts as intentional behaviors deliberately performed by speakers to achieve specific communicative goals. In the context of workplace retaliation, the act of reporting misconduct is not just a description of events, but a performative act that should trigger certain organizational responses and protections. Jürgen Habermas's theory of communicative action provides a framework for understanding how language can be used to reach mutual understanding and coordinate action in social contexts. He argues for the importance of creating conditions for ideal speech situations where power imbalances are minimized and participants can engage in rational discourse. In the workplace, this would involve creating environments where employees feel safe to report misconduct and engage in open dialogue about organizational practices. These philosophical perspectives underscore the ethical dimensions of language use in the workplace. They highlight the responsibility of organizations to create conditions for clear, honest communication, and to be aware of how language can be used to obscure or reveal truth, to empower or disempower individuals, and to uphold or undermine human rights. To combat linguistic fallacies and promote ethical communication that respects human rights, organizations should consider several strategies. Establishing clear definitions is crucial. Organizations should develop and communicate clear definitions for key terms related to employee rights and responsibilities in policies and training materials. Promoting language awareness is equally important. Implementing training programs that emphasize the importance of precise language use and encourage employees to recognize potential ambiguities in their communication can significantly improve organizational discourse. Creating safe reporting mechanisms is essential. Organizations should establish clear, confidential channels for reporting misconduct that protect employees from retaliation. Fostering open dialogue is another key strategy. Creating an environment where employees feel comfortable discussing language use and its implications fosters transparency and accountability. Implementing ethical communication training can help employees understand the impact of their words on others and promote a culture of respect. Engaging in regular ethical audits allows organizations to conduct periodic reviews of their communication practices to identify and address potential linguistic fallacies or ethical shortcomings. Finally, incorporating human rights considerations into all aspects of organizational policy and practice ensures that language use reflects a commitment to respecting and protecting individual rights. The incident involving my subordinate's report of misconduct and my superior's subsequent statement serves as a stark reminder of the critical role that clear, ethical communication plays in upholding human rights and fostering a just workplace environment. The equivocation fallacy, along with other linguistic challenges, can create an organizational culture where misconduct is minimized, ethical breaches are normalized, and human rights violations can occur unchecked. As we navigate the complexities of modern workplaces, it is imperative that we recognize the power of language as both a tool for communication and a potential barrier to understanding and ethical behavior. By cultivating awareness around linguistic fallacies and prioritizing ethical communication practices, organizations can foster environments that uphold human rights and promote integrity at all levels. This presentation underscores the invaluable contributions that individuals with backgrounds in humanities and philosophy bring to organizations. Their ability to navigate complex ethical dilemmas through critical thinking, clear communication, and a deep understanding of the philosophical underpinnings of language and ethics is essential for building robust organizational cultures that prioritize fairness, transparency, and respect for all individuals involved. In an era where corporate responsibility and ethical behavior are increasingly scrutinized, organizations that prioritize clear, ethical communication and demonstrate a commitment to human rights will not only avoid legal pitfalls but also foster environments of trust, innovation, and mutual respect. By addressing the challenges posed by linguistic fallacies and embracing the insights offered by philosophical inquiry, we can create workplaces that truly embody the principles of justice, dignity, and human rights for all. As we have explored the critical importance of clear communication and ethical reasoning in management, it is imperative that we also address two interrelated phenomena that can profoundly impact organizational dynamics and decision-making: groupthink and the law of the magic third. This addendum serves to extend our discussion on linguistic fallacies and ethical decision-making by examining how these concepts can cultivate fallacious reasoning and lead to significant ethical breaches. The scenario we analyzed in the main presentation demonstrated how individual misconceptions and linguistic equivocations can lead to ethical missteps. However, when such flawed thinking becomes systemic within a group or organization, the consequences can be far more severe and wide-reaching. Groupthink represents a collective form of the very cognitive biases and logical fallacies we have been discussing. The ethical implications of this phenomenon are profound and far-reaching, often leading to a cultivation of fallacious reasoning that can have severe consequences in various domains. It not only stifles critical thinking, but can also result in decisions that compromise ethical standards and human rights. One of the primary ethical concerns is the suppression of dissent. In such an environment, individuals who hold differing opinions may feel pressured to conform or remain silent, effectively silencing potentially valuable perspectives. This can lead to a false consensus that fails to consider important ethical considerations. For instance, in a corporate setting, a team might collectively dismiss an employee's concerns about potential retaliation against a whistleblower, rationalizing that the whistleblower is simply disgruntled or overreacting. This decision could not only violate ethical and legal standards, but also perpetuate a culture of fear and suppression, discouraging future reporting of misconduct. This collective mindset can also foster an environment where ethical violations are rationalized or overlooked. The illusion of morality, as described by Irving Janis, can lead group members to believe their decisions are inherently ethical, even when they are not. A hypothetical scenario might involve a pharmaceutical company's research team collectively deciding to withhold negative data about a new drug to expedite its approval, justifying this action as ultimately benefiting patients by getting the drug to market faster. The cultivation of fallacious reasoning is another significant ethical implication. Common fallacies that may arise include the ad populum fallacy, where the group may believe that if everyone agrees, the decision must be correct. The false dilemma fallacy, where complex issues are oversimplified into binary choices, ignoring nuanced alternatives. And confirmation bias, where information confirming pre-existing beliefs is sought out while contradictory evidence is ignored. These fallacies can lead to flawed decision-making with serious ethical consequences. For instance, a jury exhibiting this collective bias might fall prey to these fallacies, potentially leading to a wrongful conviction. In legal contexts, this phenomenon has been implicated in several high-profile cases. The Enron scandal is often cited as an example where collective thinking among executives and board members led to unethical accounting practices and ultimately the company's downfall. Similarly, the Challenger disaster has been attributed in part to groupthink within NASA's decision-making process, where concerns about O-ring failures were downplayed. Intertwined with this concept is the law of the magic third, a sociological phenomenon that suggests when approximately one-third of a group adopts a new viewpoint or behavior, it can trigger a tipping point that transforms the entire group's dynamics. This principle, explored in recent research and popularized by Malcolm Gladwell, has significant implications for how collective biases develop and persist within organizations. The law of the magic third presents both opportunities and challenges in this context. On one hand, it suggests that introducing a critical mass of diverse perspectives, around one-third, could potentially disrupt the homogeneity that often leads to groupthink. This aligns with strategies to combat collective biases by fostering diversity and encouraging dissenting opinions. However, the magic third principle could also accelerate the onset of uniform thinking if the minority viewpoint aligns with or reinforces existing biases within the group. Once the magic third threshold is reached, the remaining members might feel increased pressure to conform, leading to symptoms such as the illusion of invulnerability, rationalization, and pressure towards uniformity. Consider a hypothetical scenario where a corporate board is discussing a risky business venture. If 1/3 of the board members strongly advocate for the venture, their enthusiasm might disproportionately influence the rest, potentially leading to an overestimation of the group's capabilities and an underestimation of risks. The interaction between the law of the magic third and collective biases underscores the complex dynamics of group decision-making. It highlights the importance of not only introducing diverse perspectives, but also maintaining a balance and encouraging critical evaluation even when a significant minority supports a particular view. To mitigate the ethical risks and leverage the law of the magic third positively, organizations must foster an environment that encourages diverse perspectives, critical thinking, and open dialogue. This includes implementing systems for anonymous feedback, actively seeking out dissenting opinions, and cultivating a culture where ethical considerations are paramount in decision-making processes. Specific strategies might include 1. Deliberately structuring teams to include at least 1/3 diverse perspectives or backgrounds. 2. Implementing systems that give equal weight to all voices, preventing the magic third from unduly influencing the whole. 3. Encouraging devil's advocate roles that rotate among team members, ensuring that the magic third doesn't always align with the same subgroup. 4. Regularly reassessing group dynamics to prevent the formation of rigid in-group mentalities. 5. Creating safe spaces for dissenting opinions and rewarding constructive criticism. By recognizing the potential for collective biases, understanding the law of the magic third, and actively working to counter their negative effects, we can create more ethically robust decision-making processes that respect individual rights, uphold moral standards, and lead to more just outcomes in both professional and societal contexts. In conclusion, this addendum serves to broaden our understanding of how linguistic fallacies and ethical lapses can manifest not just on an individual level, as in our primary example, but also collectively through group dynamics and the influence of critical minorities. By applying the critical thinking skills and ethical frameworks discussed in our main presentation to these complex group dynamics, we can work towards creating more ethically sound, intellectually diverse, and resilient organizational cultures.